Hi, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little bit since I've done a video, and I feel like this is sort of like a catch up. And I want to just reinforce to all of you that part of rebuilding that kick-ass life for yourself is to always remember to take the time. Remember it's okay to say no. It's okay to take time for yourself. You know, my entire life, and I need to get better at this, I think a lot of us feel like this, like we have to keep going, just do more, be productive. And if you're not being productive, then you're just wasting time. And sometimes, my dog's in the background. Sometimes it's okay to just do nothing. It's okay to just sit. It's okay to go for a walk. It's okay to say no to special invitations or occasions. I have such a love-hate relationship with social media. For those of you that really know me, know that about me. And so sometimes it's just too much, and I have to stay off of social media. There's so much going on in the world that if we don't take time for a break, for a breather, for mental health, and we just take in everything that we're hearing, like there's so much going on right now. Yeah, I live in Canada, and so I'm sure it's everywhere though. Um, it is everywhere. I know it's everywhere. So just the protests that are getting a little bit more volatile. Israel, Palestine, Hamas, the whole P. Diddy thing, which is just crazy. And I started doing the deep dive into that. And the more of a deep dive I do, the more I start getting like, what is happening in this world? This is not the world I want my grandchildren to grow up in. And then I have to stop and I have to remind myself that your reality, you become what you consume, and you are what you put out there. You get back what you put out there. And all those negative thoughts, all the negativity that we tend to consume stays with us. It's like it's in our DNA or something. And then it alters your mood. It alters your perception on life. It alters the way you look at things. And I really choose to live this life believing that there's more good than bad. I want to live in a positive world, not in a hostile world. And so sometimes I just stay away from social media. I don't go on it. I don't turn on my phone. And I've also it's been such a busy time for me being divorced and being on your own completely. You know that everything rests on your shoulders, right? There's no backup for you. And so I am living in a house by myself, and there's just so much sometimes that it becomes overwhelming. And it feels like everything happens at once. You know, the dishwasher breaks, the dryer breaks. I spent all weekend power washing. Do you guys have a power washer? It's addictive. I power washed my deck. I power washed my porch. I power washed my whole house. I power washed my shed inside and out. I was literally outside in the rain this past weekend. I'm going to say for probably 12 hours, just doing all the yard work, getting it all ready, bringing out the furniture, the summer furniture, power wash that. And that was a whole day in itself. I also have parents that are getting older and live about 3 hours away from me. For some of you that have been following this channel, I've talked about it before, the sandwich generation, how I, as a 58-year-old, fit into that sandwich generation where I'm right in the middle of worrying about my ailing parents. My father has now been in the hospital for 6 weeks, third stroke. You guys. Okay, that man has had He has congestive heart failure, aortic aneurysm. He's on his third stroke. He's diabetic, and he has high blood pressure. I just don't even understand how he is still standing. His will to live is beyond anything I have ever seen. So he is still in the hospital. He is expected to be released May 17th. But truth be told, the person I worry about the most is not my dad, it's my mother, because she will be the primary caregiver. She has always been a pleaser. She has always been there for him no matter what. I can't believe it. She deserves a medal. And I'm really concerned about her. She's losing weight. She's not eating. She's driving to the hospital all the time to spend time there with him. Then she feels, listen to this. What? She feels guilt from the Portuguese community because she is often told by her friends that, oh my God, if my husband, he in the hospital, I go all day. I stay every day. I stay with him all day. And I'm like, Mom, you can't listen to that. You're exhausted. You take food, you feed him. You're there, you go in the morning, you're there all day. You come home at night. And it's, mind you, the nurses are so happy to see her because they're done with him. They're like done because he's so demanding. And if you've read my book, Rising Up, he was very challenging as a husband more than as a father. And so I just feel like her friends that are making her feel guilty, they know the story. They know what she went through. They know the kind of life she's had. They know that she has been at his beck and call since she was 16 years old. How dare you make her feel bad and make her feel guilty? Like, shut up. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. Like, if I heard one of them telling my mother, who has had one hell of I don't even want to get into the life she's had with him. It's been so horrible. Making her feel guilty that she should be at the hospital all day with him, all day, every day. That better not come up when I'm around, because my mother is a fucking saint. My mother is a sweetheart. My mother is the kindest, sweetest, gentlest woman on the planet, and she's had a horrible life. And she never complains. Never, never, never. And so that's been a little bit exhausting as well, dealing with that, worrying about your parents. And then, I've talked about this before. As a 58-year-old, have a lot of friends that are in their early 60s, and a lot of them are falling ill with cancer and MS and stuff like that. And then we worry about our kids, right? We worry about our kids because, again, as I started speaking at the beginning of the video, the world and the economy and the state it's in, and although you try and stay positive, sometimes it's a little bit daunting. And so I have been MIA, and sorry, I want to try and really build this community. Can I just say something about building a community where you are like gathering with like-minded people? So on my Instagram, because I haven't been posting anything on my Instagram either, I did today. Both my boys went off to South Africa. They're there with Global Conservation Force, which is a great organization, and they're both there fighting the cause and bringing awareness for the poaching crisis that happens, especially with the rhinos. Anyway, I'm digressing, but so I did post something today because they both went off, and I love to see my boys together doing something like that. One son is a pilot, the other son works for conservation organizations all over the world, but that they get to do it together is just, as a mom, I'm so happy to see that. Oh my God, what was I talking about? Oh my God, I feel like I have dementia. What was I talking about before that? Oh, the community. So Instagram, I think there's 12,000 of us there on my little Instagram following, but I love everyone there so much, and I want to do the same with Facebook. Do you know that on my deepest, darkest days, and I have them, we all do, where it's just glum and gloomy, and sometimes I just wake up sad for no reason. And I'm generally, like, innately, I'm a very happy, positive person, but sometimes I have those days. I will have DMs left on my Instagram saying, these are strangers, these are people I've never met before, but that have been following me for, years. Hey, just checking in, making sure everything's okay. How's the fam? Are you good? Just remember, we love you out here. Just remember we love and respect you, and stay positive. Guys, if that doesn't just warm your heart to have strangers leave those kind of messages for you, and that's what keeps me going, and that's what keeps me wanting to do the videos and to talk to you guys and to share I was going to say my wisdom, but I think that's kind of really tooting my horn. Just share my experience and my wisdom. And I did have a question actually last week. Hang on. Oh my God. This is a coho. He's a rescue from, I think, Pakistan. Hi, Cokes. So he actually belongs to my son, but because he travels so much, he stays with me when they're out of the country. And he's by my side 24/7. And this guy's by my side 24/7. His name is Gato, which means kitten in Portuguese. But anyway, I had a question from one of my followers that asked me how I was able to maintain such a good, healthy relationship with my kids during and after having been divorced, because she feels like their father, is poisoning their mind and turning her kids against her. Well, I would be devastated, heartbroken beyond. For anyone that really knows me, I literally live for my kids. There is nothing in this world that makes me happier, that brings so much joy to my life as my kids. I have three. I have a 33-year-old, a 31-year-old, 33-year-old, 32-year-old, he just put his paw, and a 28-year-old. And when I was first divorced, this is the only thing I can tell you. I mean, I'm not an expert. Listen, I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist. I'm not any of those things, but this is what worked for me. And this is what I can absolutely, unequivocally tell you helped with the kids. Ugh. Coho, please, honey. You have to, when you're going through a divorce, you have to always keep them at the forefront, okay? Always. And there's going to be days that you want to talk shit about your ex, and there's going to be days that they're going to piss you off, and there's going to be days that you are just not happy with whatever the situation is. If you keep your kids at the forefront at all times and you don't involve them in the drama, and you don't talk to them about your problems with your ex, and you always put them first, and if your ex, for example, if it's your year to have Christmas Day with them and your ex decides to have Christmas Day, let them. God bless you. Do not ever put the kids in a position where they have to choose. And I don't even know how I would handle if I heard that their father was talking shit about me or talking trash. I think you have to not address it with the kids and then address it perhaps with the father, your ex. I just think that when you do that, it makes such a world of difference. I mean, the kids are going to be affected regardless. Divorce sucks, and doesn't matter how you spin it, the kids are going to be affected. What we did, so I've been married twice. I've been divorced twice. So my second marriage, I didn't have any children with him. So all three kids are the byproduct of my first marriage, my first husband. That's their dad. And what we did was we actually decided to sell the matrimonial home, and then buy two smaller homes in the same vicinity. Like we were literally around the corner from each other, so that the kids could have access to both parents at any time. And oftentimes the kids would go back and forth. So we did have an agreement, court ordered or court agreement, where it was week on, week off. So one week was with their dad, and then the following week was with me. However, that was never really like stipulated or written in stone. If the kids wanted to spend a few days with me when they're supposed to be with their dad and vice versa, it was never an issue. That was perfectly okay. They would get on their bikes, or they didn't have to get on their bike. They were literally around the corner from each other, and come over for dinner, because I was making spaghetti and dad was making pork chops again, or whatever. And I think if you do that, there's time is already subdivided with their parents. And so if you make them feel like it's not their fault, you love them unconditionally, they had nothing to do with the demise of the marriage, and you want the best for them and to keep things as civil and as normal as possible, that hopefully will help in terms of them not feeling like they may have played a part in the divorce, or they're complicating the matter. That might help. I feel for you. I feel for you. I hear it so many times that the kids are being poisoned, and there's nothing that you can do. Listen, the only thing you can control is yourself. You can't control how another person is going to act or react or what they're going to say. You can't control that. And let me just say this. They are going to spin a story. If you've ended this relationship and it's not amicable, and oftentimes it's not, they're going to spin the story to make you look bad and to make them look good. It's just going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. You just go on doing you, being you, ignoring it. And eventually, it might not be right away. It might not be today, tomorrow, next week, next year. But eventually, it will come out in the wash. Eventually, the truth will prevail. The truth will come out. And so I would not really worry about it too much. You just keep on showing them love, showing them affection, being there for them, having an open conversation, asking about their day, staying connected. Do all of those things to help to minimize, because at some point they're going to start sort of seeing it like, well, yeah, I don't see mom in that light, or I don't. Do you know what I'm saying? Just keep being you, doing you, and hopefully it will all work out so that they will see the truth and will see the light. And I'm sorry that you're going through that. Nothing would be as devastating or as heartbreaking to me if I did not have a relationship with my kids. There is nothing more important. And for those of you that maybe are having a hard time dating and trying to figure that out now that you're divorced, okay, I'm going to tell you right now, this might sound harsh, but your kids should always 1,000% come first. Always. Before the boyfriend, before the girlfriend, before the date, before the concert, before the bar, before the party, before the whatever. Your kids need to come first. If your kids come first all the time, before all of that, they will feel prioritized. They will feel loved. I never, ever, ever introduced my children to a date. If I was dating, that happened when they were with their father. I never booked anything on the weeks that I had my kids. I mean, of course, I was still working. So if I had meetings or anything like that, then yeah, of course. But if it was for my own pleasure, for my own personal time, that only happened when I did not have the kids. Only, ever. There was never, ever a time where I had to call a babysitter because I wanted to go out and party or do whatever, and had somebody look after my kids. I had all the time in the world when they were with their father. There was absolutely no need for me to subdivide my time again when I had my kids to go out and do the things that I wanted to do. And if if a guy or a girl, I don't know, it could be a man watching this, if a guy or a girl that you're dating does not understand that and does not respect that, then they just need to fucking go. I'm sorry, they do. I'm sorry. You're here for no bullshit. And that is no bullshit. If they are whining because you are not prioritizing them, you're not supposed to be prioritizing them. You have kids. And if they don't understand that, then they're not the right person. I'm not saying that listen, I am not at all saying that you just give up your whole life for your kids, although I probably did, but I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when they're spending time with the other parent, that is the time that you can then go out and play. Other than that, prioritize the kids. Because if you want to have a happy, healthy, loving, mutually respectful relationship with your children, then you have to put in the time and you have to prioritize them over and above your new main squeeze. I'm telling you, I have the most amazing relationship with my children, and they know that no matter what it is, no matter what the situation is, they can run to me with it, with their issues, with their problems, with their concerns. They can run to me rather than run from me. They all know that, all of them, every single one of them. In fact, if you follow me on Instagram, my 31-year-old, he's a pilot. He was just here. He slept here last night, and he's heading to Africa with his older brother. And I so regret not doing that trip. I so regret it. I almost I got teary-eyed because I'm like, what a great opportunity to have spent, time in Africa with both of them. So I think they're going to Kenya. Global Conservation Force is where they're headed. Shameless plug. But I am going to Borneo in July, and my older son is treating me to that trip. And that was like a $10,000 trip. And he's treating me just as a thank you for looking after this guy and his cat, who's also a rescue, not this one, another one, Bear, he's around here somewhere. It's just sort of a thank you, Mom. Appreciate you. And amazing. So that's what I wanted to sort of talk about today, just a little catch up, why I haven't been here. I've been needing to take a little bit of a mental health break, and I recommend that you all do the same and don't feel guilty for saying no, and don't feel guilty for putting you first. Sometimes you need that. You need to be good with yourself and be okay before you can take care of others. And so don't feel guilty about that. So I have been a little bit MIA, and I think I actually filmed I filmed the power washing of the deck, so maybe I'll tag that at the end. My daughter, who owns her own grooming business, has been really sick. So I, of course, stepped in to help her. So I think I even filmed a little bit of grooming some of her dogs. And I think, you guys, honestly, I think I'm going to start being more involved in that business, because first of all, it really helps her out, but it's so therapeutic. It's so therapeutic with those dogs and the puppies, and they're so freaking cute, and just giving them a bath. And I have a video of one doodle that I was doing, and he's literally I'm massaging his head, and he's literally falling asleep, and he's nodding off, and it was just so adorable. So I'm going to start, I think, getting a little bit more involved in that business. I feel like I'm jack of all trades. I really do. I'm a stager, interior decorator, groomer, shipper and receiver for my son, who ships out a lot of merch, bookkeeper, YouTuber, podcaster. Oh my God. But I like to keep busy. But that's going right back to what I was saying at the beginning of this video. I do like to keep busy, but I need to also realize that it's okay to not be productive all the time. It's okay to just take a breather. It's okay to just do nothing and just take that time. And I know I have a really hard time with that. And so does my son Cody, actually. Well, so does Blake. But Cody, I feel like Cody could work 24/7. And I've had this conversation with him before. He lives with his girlfriend, and I've said to him, and although she's a workhorse as well, you need to remember that you're in a relationship, and although you are a workhorse, you need to also make sure that you're putting time aside to nurture that relationship. So, so important. Put your phone down when you're having a conversation with her. Put your phone down. There is nothing worse than conversing or trying to get the attention of your partner and they're on their phone. You're not listening, and it's blatantly obvious that you're not listening. So I've had that conversation with him before, and so they come by it honestly because I am constantly doing something to try and be productive, or I feel like I'm wasting my time. But I am making a conscious effort now to just say no. Just say no. I can't do that. I'm not in the right headspace. I can't go to that event, or I can't go to that whatever, or I'm just not going to post on social media because I don't feel like it. And that is that. So, oh my God, I was going to show you. Not that you guys are really terribly interested in all my crazy pets. So that's it. I just wanted to catch up, say hi. Thank you for being here on Rebuilding a Kick-Ass Life. I actually changed it. I had Rebuilding a Kick-Ass Life after divorce. And then I have people that are not here just because they're trying to rebuild a kick-ass life after divorce. They're just trying to rebuild their kick-ass life after loss, or after, you know, I feel like the pandemic has really altered the way a lot of us live. And I feel like the pandemic has isolated a lot of us. And I feel like I don't feel like, because I just get so many DMs, I know that there's a lot of people that are feeling really lonely, that are feeling defeated, that are feeling hopeless, that are feeling helpless. And I'm here to say that that was me many years ago. And I still have days where I get frustrated and I get overwhelmed because I am on my own. It's been 8 years and I have to bear the weight of the world just on my shoulders. And I do have friends and family that are great, but you know what I mean? You don't have that partner to back you up, or even the financial backup sometimes. I worry about that. I'm here to say that this too shall pass. It does get better. And it's, we all have those days. Oh, and another thing. So I did a video, I'm moving to Portugal. So I just a little bit of a catch up for there, or an update. Oh my God, I'm so covered in dog hair. The update is that I'm looking at potentially buying my grandfather's house. My sister and I, actually. And so that's where we're at. When I go to Portugal, hopefully I'm going to get there in July. I'm going to meet with my cousin who's a lawyer down there and figure out how we can facilitate that. So right now, the problem is that right now my grandfather's house was left to all his kids. So my mom and all her siblings own the house. So it's just a matter of trying to see if everyone is willing to sell, and then coming up with the price. And then I think what we would do is we'll do an extensive renovation, because been trying to figure out, where do I want to live? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to buy? And then I thought, well, why would I buy? There's a house that's there that not a lot of people use, with the exception of my mother. And so why not keep it in the family? I know that a couple of years ago, they were thinking about selling it. So it's in the north of Portugal. The town is Montalegre. It's about 30 minutes from Chaves, Chaves, and that's sort of like the biggest center. It's way in the north, so it's very, very primitive, but I love that. I love getting away. And that's where I am with that. So we've made a decision that we're going to try and buy my grandfather's house that was built in the 1800s. And I will keep you posted because you guys, that is a goal, and I am determined, come hell or high water, I'm going to be in Portugal. Oh my God, I could keep this going forever. So I have a friend. This is such a great story. I have a friend, and I will do another video and touch up on this. I have a friend whom I met when she was renting my condos in Florida. For those of you that don't know, I came from a very financially privileged marriage. We had vacation properties in Longboat Key, which is an island in Florida. And this particular family would rent my condo every July for the entire month. And we became good friends. Now, fast forward to years later, because I haven't had those condos now for 8 years, ever since I filed for my divorce, because I walked away from a lot of stuff. Anyway, she is now divorced. She has moved to Italy. She bought an old house and she is renovating it, and she's going to run like a retreat, like a therapeutic retreat. And I am so proud of her. It takes so much courage to do that. And so I'll talk about how we connected and how we stayed in touch. And I feel like the universe was conspiring for us to meet and for us to connect, because I still talk to her to this very day. I'm so excited for her. I am so thrilled for what she's doing. I think it is just, I get it. She had this calling to go back to Italy. She's Italian. And I'm like, oh my God, I have this calling to go back to Portugal and I can't wait. And you're giving me, she says, I inspire her so much. And I'm like, I inspire you. You inspire me. From what you're doing right now, I'm like, oh my God, I applaud you. And so I'm following her on Instagram. I think it's Paola in Italy. Paola in Italy is her Instagram if you want to go check out what she's doing. And I think that's what it is. God, I can't remember. But I'm so impressed, and that's exactly what I want to do. I'm not going to turn mine into a retreat, but I definitely want to move back to Portugal and spend at least 6 months of the year there, because my soul, my heart calls me back. Okay, time for dinner? Coho? Thank you. Guys, happy to be back here. I will see you soon again on Rebuilding a Kick-Ass Life. Please leave me a comment. Let me know who you are, why you're listening, why you're following. I really want to get to know my community more on an intimate level. And for those of you that comment often and are so sweet and so supportive, thank you so much. My goal is to keep building the YouTube channel, keep building this community, and please ask any questions. If you have questions on divorce, if you have questions on narcissistic abuse and how to get away from that and what that entails. If you like, I'm not an expert by any means, but I'm just someone who was raised by a narcissistic father and have had my share of narcissists in my life, and how to just turn everything around and be completely at peace, because that is my greatest desire in life, to be at peace and to live a kick-ass life. Bye guys. Please leave me a comment and I'll see you soon.